We have now the last session for the day uh, by Sagar Dubey, who is the team lead solutions architect from Tricentis. Sagar Dubal is a quality engineer professional with 16 plus years of experience in quality engineering and assurance. Sagar is working as a team lead solution architect India at Tricentis, demonstrating and advising Tricentis partners, customers, and prospects about Tricentis products and solutions. So I hand over the stage to Sagar. Sagar, you may continue now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vidhi, for the introduction. So let me just present my screen again. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are based out of. So for the last 2 years, we are hearing about or we are talking about work from home, family, office, environment, collaboration, workload, and other. And we all will agree the importance of collaboration, whether it is within the family or with office colleagues. Now, when we are working in the DevOps model, the releases are much faster and the duration is in a week or a days. If you have to achieve DevOps successfully, the collaboration between the teams is a must. And as we have different teams, the development team, the uh, BA team, the testing team, they might be using the different tools. So there is a need of integration of these tools so that we can collaborate effectively. This is even if critical if we are working, if you see our current IT landscape, which is more complex, more dynamic in terms of different types of applications or different technologies. It could be web, desktop, or some legacy application as well. The infra, the cloud, on-premise, hybrid model, the data, as we can see, these n number of different applications, the transformation of data between these applications will be much complex. And the business processes, as it's not just a single application, there will be the business processes will always be more complex. So whenever there is a change, the uh, the expectations are we need to deliver it faster with good quality and with low cost. And for that, apart from collaboration, we will also need to know what to test. Does it work? Does it scale? Is the data correct? And is it ready for release? So the Tricentis platform will help in addressing these or knowing these factors and in the collaboration as well. So let's see how. So let's start with what to test. Suppose there is a change coming. The first thing what we want to know is like what to test. We don't want to test everything. We want to be have our scope much optimized, but at the same time we need to ensure that it's not impact there's no impact on quality. Now let's see first how Tricentis Tosca will help over here. So within Tricentis Tosca, there is a requirement section where user can define the frequency and damage class for each requirement, which will help in calculating the weightage and the contribution percentage. Once the values are updated, it will help in understanding which has the more weightage or which business requirement has highest contribution. And based on that, we can start our development or testing activities. And in this way, we will be able to prioritize it. And it's not that, but once we will start with test case creation, test case execution, it will also show us the coverage specified and the execution state. And when we want to release, we are more confident because we can see the contribution percentage, and based on that we can analyze, okay, this much percentage of failure, can we go or can we not go with this. This was about the requirement section within Tosca. Now let's see, once we have the requirement, once we have prioritized it, what's the next? We want to create the test scenarios or generate the test scenarios, and during that we want to ensure that we are achieving maximum risk coverage with minimum number of test cases. So let's see the next section, the test case design section, how it will help. Assume this is a business an application, an insurance calculator application. What it does is like it generates the insurance quote and it has different range such as silver, gold, platinum, ultimate, and all these will have different values based on the selection which are of the fields which are highlighted in blue color. Say suppose this fuel type is changed to diesel, the values for silver, gold, platinum, and ultimate will get changed. Now the business objective is to identify or to test this feature. So let's see. Suppose if we will go, let's see how the test case design section will help over here. So we have the test case design section over here. We have created the attributes and instances. So basically fuel type, which is an attribute and which has like petrol, diesel, gas. These are the values. If we try to generate all combinations, it's like 11 and 1000 plus combinations. So Tosca has an linear expansion which will help in generating optimized number of combinations. We can see the 33 instances, and all these columns are kind of a test case and it will get linked to the test case section. So from 1000 to 33, but this linear expansion algorithm will help in ensure that from a coverage perspective we are good, so there is no gap in the quality. And this test case design section is a link to the test case section, and we can even generate the test cases based out of this. So now it will generate the all 33 test cases. So this was about the requirement section and the test case design section, which will help in understanding what to test factor. Now let's see the another product, which is Tricentis Live Compare, which is mainly for SAP. And when we say SAP, we have like more number of test cases, more number of transactions. As we know, like this is an enterprise application and it's quite a big application. So whenever there is even a small change is there, we want to be ensure that where is the test hit or where is the test gap. We don't want to lose anything. So this Tricentis Live Compare Impact Analysis app will help in identifying the most at risk objects. So basically, based on certain parameters of depth and usage, it will help in identifying the ideal candidate to test the change object, which is and which will help in identifying the most at risk object and indirectly help in reducing the uh, uh, reducing the scope of testing, but at the same time without impacting the quality as such. So this is about the live compare. So what live compare will do is like it will just not identify the test hits, but it will also identify the test gap. Test gap is nothing but for a particular change. If a particular automated or some manual test case is not available, it will highlight it as a test gap. And if the test case is there, it will identify it as a test hit. Now we were talking about the collaboration. So we can see over here, say the live compare app, it's mainly used by the business team, and say Tosca is used by the automation team. Now how they can collaborate. So live compare and Tosca has an integration, and I was talking about test gap. So all the test gaps which are there, which will get listed as a blank requirements in Tosca, so that the automation tester can go and start creating the automated test case over there. And wherever the test hit is there, it will just create an execution list and the user can go and trigger the automated test case. So this was about the what to test. Now, once we understand what is the scope of testing, the next is does it work? And for does it work, we also want to ensure that we have the appropriate number of automated test cases or the flow is already automated, and for which the Tricentis Tosca is the tool. So Tricentis Tosca is the model-based test automation. So let's see what does the model-based test automation means. So suppose this is a system under test, or any application, and say if you want to create an automated test case for this application, first we will scan that application, extract all the technical information which will get stored in the model or say module, and all the test data or the business information is in the test case section. So both the module and the test case information is used to steer any application or to execute any automated test case on a system under test. And over here we can see there is a clear separation between the technical information and business information, and that's where it helps in reducing the maintenance aspect. Since if there is any technical change, we just need to focus on the module section, adapt that particular change, and if that module is used in say n number of test cases, the change will get reflected in all the test cases. So this is a high level definition of a model based test case, and this is the view of a test case in Tosca on the left hand side. So there is no scripting required, or it's a scriptless view, so there is no scripting required to create an automated test case in Tosca. And even a business user will able to understand what's the objective of this particular test case. And on the right hand side we can see a similar view with any script based tool. Moving next, let's see quickly that how we can create an automated test case in Tosca. So right now we are in Tosca, we are in the blue section, which is the test case section, and say we want to automate an SAP Fiori application. And say let's start with this page. So first is scanning that particular application, and then select the controls on which user is going to perform any operation. So these are the modules which are available, and now we are going to say select scan application, and then we will select the particular application. The application is there, we will select it and we will say scan, and then just start selecting the controls. Say suppose if you want to click on create quotation, create sales order, we will just select those particular control. Now it will just load the different controls which are available on this particular page. Now user is just selecting the controls on which he wants to perform any operation. Once this is done, we can just say finish screen, and then we can navigate to the next screen, and then we can select the control again. In this way we can continue with creation of module. But so we have like the home screen module for the home screen available. So this is the module which has all the technical information, and now we will drag and drop this module into the test case section so that we can provide the test data to it. So this is the test case, and now we have the login step already available, and we will just select what type of operation we want to do over here. Say we want to click over here, we will just say click, and we will continue. So now this test step is ready, and even we can execute this particular test case. So this is the way we can build a test case in Tosca, and in Tosca we can have a test case, a single test case covering the different technologies as well. So this is execution is complete, and similarly we can continue with the next. Now let's quickly see what are the key features of Tricentis Tosca. We have already spoken about model-based test automation. We have seen the risk-based testing approach. The test data management is available to handle any stateful data, and say OSV is there to simulate any third-party services. So this we can say to avoid the false positive scenario also. Suppose any third-party service is not available, we can use OSV to simulate the service and continue with the automation activity. Apart from this, from a scaling perspective, what we want is like we should be able to execute our test case or distribute the test execution. So for this, the text feature is there, using which we will be able to execute our automated test cases on some multiple machines. And this is really important when we have a project with high number of test cases. And obviously when we are talking about agile DevOps, the need is to integrate with any build servers tools such as Jenkins, Bamboo, and ADO and other, and which is more on the configuration side. So we can even trigger the Tosca test cases from any build servers. So these are the some of the key features of Tricentis Tosca, which supports 160 plus technologies, and for that different types of engines are available which will help in automating those different types of application. And with this, why there is a need, because when we see an enterprise landscape, they just don't have a web application or say API, they have different applications on different technologies, and the objective is like if you want to scale in automation or you want to test everything, we need a single tool which should support the different technologies. So let's see this particular flow, like again taking the same reference of insurance calculator application. The code can be generated from a web or say from any APIs. Then it will generate an PDF. We need to verify certain details in a PDF. Then we need to send this PDF as an attachment to the user who has requested for the code. And then the backend operations start, say in this case, in the ERP application, some database verification once the order is created in the backend, some backend processing, running certain process in the mainframe application, a legacy application, and once the process is complete, just clean up it from a desktop application. So all these different types of applications are part of a single flow, and we have used the different features of Tosca to automate this as a part of a single test case. So let's quickly see over here. We can see one of the services not available. What this car service does is like once user select the make, it will give the say the fuel type and the number of seats. And over here what we are triggering it from Jenkins, a build server tool, and soon the execution will begin. So we will see the similar flow where it will start from the web application where it will generate the insurance quote, and then whatever the ID which is getting generated, we will be able to we will use the same ID in the next process. So soon the execution should begin and the application should get launched. Now here is the insurance calculator application, and over here now we will see like on this particular page, even this one of the service is not available, we are able to continue. And that's really important because when we are uh, working, we don't want like all our test case execution should get blocked at this first step. So this is the order number which is being generated. uh, Now the PDF verification and say sending an email will happen in backend because Tosca doesn't need to steer those app, application. There are certain modules available which are being used to perform these operations. And this is we have logged into the SAP Theory application, and now we will create an order over here. And while creating an order, uh, we will just use the same order ID which was being generated as part of an insurance calculator application or the front end customer facing application. We can say it's entering the order type, and in the customer reference it will enter the same order ID. It will provide certain details, and then the next process will start. So it's more about some verification in database which happens in background, and this is about some processing which is in the mainframe application. Once the process this is complete, then it will open a desktop application, and we will it will just delete that particular order. So this was an kind of an end-to-end flow, and say what does it work in that perspective. It should also work on it. We should also consider just not a single type of application or technology. It should support multiple technologies. So that's about Tosca. Now next is about ARA, which is automation recording assistant, and it's mainly so in live compare we saw that there were certain test gaps identified, and when we are saying SAP, we have a business users. So if you want to collaborate with them, ARA is the best tool because the business user can just have this tool installed on the machine, and then they can continue with their activity. What ARA will do is like whatever action they are performing on the application, it will capture all the steps like this, and this can be saved as an ARA subset which can be imported into Tosca. The automation tester can then enhance that particular uh, test case from there, and then he can include it into the regression suite. So again, we can see a collaboration between a business user and an automation tester using ARA and Tosca. Uh, from a testing perspective, another important aspect is the data correct. As we have seen, like a number of different types of applications, there is a data movement. So what Tosca does is Tosca DI is kind of an add-in within Tosca, and there is a layer testing approach. So we will have different types of tests at the pre-screening layer, and these are kind of an pre-built tests which user can use. User just need to select the types of test, and then it will create the automated test case. And as these test cases will get created in Tosca, so it could also be a part of our end-to-end regression suite. So combination of functional plus and data test cases. So a kind of a collaboration between uh, the data team and the automation testers. So uh, how the how this tool helps is, like as I mentioned, there are some pre-built tests which are available at say pre-screening layer, vital checks. These are the different types of tests. Similarly, field tests, user can execute this test at the earlier stage, such as when the files are being extracted, when the files are being, or say data is being transformed and extracted. So we can start our testing earlier, and we can find the issues earlier. So later and we can just focus more on the business front. This was on a high level about the data integrity part. Uh, Now the next is about, does it scale? Uh, Again, this is another important aspect, as when we see from an testing perspective. Once we have done the testing, the next is we want to scale it, because even if we see like slow is the new downtime, we can say whenever we are on an application, if say it takes say 3 to 4 seconds to load a particular page, then definitely we will try to avoid using that particular application. So it's not just the application should work functionally, but there is a high importance, like it should get scale as well when we have n number of users accessing it. So this is about the Tricentis Neoload, which will help in doing the performance testing, and which will help in accelerating and scaling the performance testing across all the different products. Again, from an collaboration perspective, it has a native integration with the different DevOps tool, and there is a possibility of reusing the functional test case. So the automated test case which we have created as part of Tosca, we can convert that as a performance test case. So um, and from a technology stack perspective, it supports from an microservices to the monolith applications as well. So a wide range of a coverage from a technology perspective as well. So I was talking about the convergent factor. So this is we have an this is available for Tosca Web, or say Tosca SAP GUI, or Tosca Fiori test case. So there is an add-in available, add-on available, which can be used, and we have this Tosca test case available. And what we can do is, like, we can convert into a performance test case, and then obviously the performance tester can enhance that particular test case, and then they can execute it from there. But again, the important aspect is you don't need to worry about the data, the flow, and other. All the steps are available as in the Neoload tool. So again, we can see a collaboration between the automation tester and the performance tester. So these integrations will help in uh, scaling our, or say doing the testing activities much faster. Now once we have understand what what was needed to test, where is the test gap which we have automated using say Tosca, then if there are some data particular aspects, we have used the Tosca DI feature. And then we have also used the performance testing to check whether it can scale. Now we want to understand, is it ready for release? One factor, one aspect we have already seen in the requirement section, where it will show us the test results along with the business risk coverage as well, which will help in understanding whether it's ready for release or not. But we also have another product, which is Tricentis Q test, which will also help in understanding that aspect, whether it's ready for release. When we say Tricentis Q-Test, it's a agile test management platform, or we can say it's a unified test management platform, because it can be work on a project following the waterfall model or project following the agile methodology. It has a very close integration with Jira. So if we have um, the integration works for the requirement section and say the defect section. So if we have the user story created into Jira, it get real-time sync into Qtest, and from there the manual testing team, or then they can start creating the test scenarios or test cases for this. And once they execute it, if they found any defect, they can raise a defect into Qtest, and that will get sync into Jira. So once the information is available in Jira, the business user can understand which are the defects are being raised, and there are certain plugins available which will also show for a particular user story what's the test case status. So the team can work independently, but at the same time they can collaborate because of the integration between the Qtest and Jira. This was around the integration aspect, but uh, uh, another important aspect is it ready for release. So Qtest comes with apart from test management, there are certain other features such as Qtest Explorer, which can help in collaborating with the business user. Again, a similar way, uh, we can share a particular scenario with the business user. They can uh, 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 perform their activity as per the daily routine, and then that can scenario documentation or say video is can be available into the Qtest Explorer feature, which the testing team, whether it could be a manual testing team, automation testing team, they can use, and they can create their manual test cases or an automated test case, or they can understand what's the flow is. There are also other features such as Qtest Launch, which can be used to launch the automated test cases, whether it's for Tosca or whether it's for any other open source tool. The benefit of this is like if we have a test results coming out from a manual test cases, from say an automation tool, from any uh, developer tool such as JMeter, all this can be seen into the test result section and can be seen as part of the reporting section. So when user want to see a particular report or understand what's the current status, they can go and they can see it into the Qtest Insights feature. So the Qtest Insights feature has certain inbuilt dashboards available, which user can also customize as per that requirement. And uh, so we can see a glimpse of this. So, and they can also get the data on different aspects. And that's what is required when we want to see whether a particular requirement is ready for release or not. We want to see the different aspects, and those details will user will be able to see as part of the Qtest Insights feature. So we have seen like how Tricentis platform will help over here uh, in collaboration between the different teams, how the products are integrated at different level, and how we can make sure that we will also be able to deliver with quality. So this is about the collaboration between the different user roles, whether it could be a product owner, could be a developer, could be a manual tester, automation specialist, performance user, data user, or even say a business user. They might be using different tool, but the Tricentis platform will help them into collaborate effectively and deliver at the speed of DevOps. So this was about the Tricentis platform. Let me just quickly tell you a brief about Tricentis, and then we will open up for any Q&A. So Tricentis has a worldwide presence. We have an offices all over the world. The our company was founded in Vienna, and now we have our headquartered in Austin. And from an India operation perspective, we have an office in Pune, where we have like around 200 employees working in different departments, starting from support. Most of you might, if you are using the Tricentis product, you might be interacting with them as well. So they support 24 by 5 for different Tricentis products such as Tricentis Tosca, Tricentis Qtest, Neoload, and other. Then we have an engineering team which contribute in the product development aspect. We have some partner facing teams which works closely along with the Tricentis partners within India. And we also have a consulting team which helps in initial training or initial setup of the project. And we have worldwide, we have 2,400 plus customers, and this Tricent, we are also recognized by the analysts such as Gartner, Forrester, and IDC. The horizontal expansion we have already seen. The company was founded in 2007. So when it was founded, it was mainly about Tosca, but now we have a range of different products. We also recently added STeP-IN and TX3. In this session, I have mainly covered about the uh, the the data, the performance testing, and the automation tools. But obviously, you can always visit our website if you want to know more about the Tricentis uh, different products. From a partner's perspective, so these are not limited to this. We work closely along with the partners. These are our implementation partners, uh, uh, where which helps in the implementation of the Tricentis products. And definitely everyone want to know whether the approach is proven or not, what we have talked about. Yeah, so these are the customer logos, and we can see it's not specific to a certain industry. We have the customers across the different industries who are using the Tricentis products quite effectively. So that was from my side, and I'm ready to take any questions. Any
Yes,
question?
thanks, Sagar. We have just two questions.
Sure.
One is desktop application is also supported from this app.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely Tosca supports the different, as I mentioned, Tosca supports 160 plus different technologies and applications. So desktop application, whether it could be a .NET based, Java based, we have different engines available which supports this. And we also have a Vision AI engine, which is a kind of a technology agnostic. So it doesn't uh, uh, for Vision AI to work. For that, there is no need of, it doesn't matter which is the underlying technology the application has. Yeah. So to answer it, uh, Tosca does supports the desktop application as well.
All right. Another question we have from Ritesh Pujari. He says, is there a privilege to design test cases when data is flowing from one system to another system using third party integration?
So from a third party integration, Tosca does supports third party integration, but the integration is, if we see from a Tosca perspective, the integration could be at say requirement section or say test design section, or say defect section. So basically, what we can see is like if you want to sync a particular requirement, say from Jira into Tosca, so that is supported via Tosca Connect. Or once the defect is raised in say Tosca, we want to sync it into any defect management tool, that is being supported using Tosca Connect feature. But I will need certain additional details like from a data flowing perspective, because from a functional aspect, if any say if you have any data coming out of any third party system, we have a test data service feature where you can upload the data, uh, and during the execution you can just call that particular data, work on that particular, use that as part of your testing, and then you can even update a particular data in the same test data service as well. I hope I have answered this question.
All right. I guess there's the last question for the day by Aman Bhalla. In performance testing, how you set up the baseline?
So for performance testing, I would say Neoload is our product, and what I would suggest is like I'm not the performance testing expert, but we have Sharat available, and you can always visit the Tricentis booth, and then you can know more about the performance testing, how it is being done, and how. So, but what I can say is like again, even to use Neoload, no need to have the knowledge of any scripting as such. You can directly start creating the use cases within the performance using Neoload. But yeah, do visit our booth or visit our website to know more uh, around this.
Okay, I guess I told you one last question, but then this question is coming up that do we have any free demo version available? So is it possible?
So free demo version of the tools. So user can always request for a trial license. And from an learning perspective, so Tricentis has an academy, so they can avail certain courses, say, such as for Tosca, we have the courses available starting from say a basic level to an advanced level. And once user will uh, uh, register for this course, they will also get the trial license along with this to learn for the tool or explore the tool more. But on the Tricentis website, there are a number of resources available. If you just want to go and see the previous webinar, the demo, all those are also available on Tricentis website as well.
All right. Thank you, Sagar. Thank you for the wonderful session.